Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, but it's just your body deciding when you open your eyes. There's no blaring alarm on your phone, no rigid schedule, and literally nowhere you absolutely have to be. Sounds amazing, right? Well, for 99% of human history, this incredibly peaceful reality wasn't some hypothetical weekend luxury. It was just everyday life.
You'd sit up, maybe stretch a little, and basically ask yourself one simple question. What should I do today? For roughly 300,000 years, that was the reality of every single morning for our ancestors. And trust me, their answer to that question looked absolutely nothing like the life you and I are living right now.
Okay, let's dive into this, because that peaceful illusion completely shatters when we look at this staggering number, 90,000. That is the number of hours modern humans spend working a job over their lifetime. It's roughly a third of your entire waking existence just dedicated to employment. But for the vast majority of our time on this planet, jobs didn't even exist. No wages, no boss, no climbing the corporate ladder. So what did people actually do all day?
Well, to answer that, we have to contrast your modern 40-plus hour work week with a really groundbreaking study from 1963. Archaeologist Richard Lee tracked the daily activities of the Juhansi people in Botswana, who lived in a way that closely mirrored pre-agricultural life. And what he found completely upended our assumptions. Adults spent merely 2.5 days per week acquiring food. That is just 15 to 20 hours a week on survival. The rest of the time, they basically did whatever they wanted. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that relaxed survival schedule has to be a fluke. But look at this cross-cultural proof. We see this exact same pattern everywhere anthropologists look, from the Hadza in Tanzania to the Aceh in Paraguay to the Martu in Australia. We're talking about completely different environments across different continents, yet they yield the exact same result. Roughly 15 to 20 hours a week spent on survival activities. I mean, you probably work double that right now.
Section 1. Evidence in Bones and Art. Let's look at the hard archaeological evidence that actually disproves the modern myth of ancient life being a brutal, non-stop physical struggle.
And this brilliantly illustrates the skeletal truth when we compare early farmers to ancient hunter-gatherers. The difference is literally night and day. The early farmers, they were shorter, riddled with cavities from grain-heavy diets, and suffered from serious arthritis in their spines due to repetitive labor. They died younger. But the ancient hunter-gatherers? Taller, stronger bones, healthier teeth, and way less joint damage. They were quite literally doing less repetitive physical labor, not more.
But honestly, the most fascinating evidence that survival wasn't a constant struggle is this incredible timeline of ancient art. Look at the Chauvet cave paintings from 30,000 years ago. That takes immense skill and time. Or the 40,000-year-old flute carved from a vulture bone in Germany. Or, going way back 100,000 years, the perforated shell beads found in Blombos Cave in South Africa. The nearest coast was 20 kilometers away. Someone walked a 40-kilometer round trip just to collect shells and then spent hours carefully drilling holes with stone tools. Not for survival, just for beauty. You only do that kind of stuff if you have vast amounts of free time.
Section 2, the original daily routine. So if they weren't constantly fighting just to survive, what did an ancient 24-hour day actually look like?
It breaks down into a really fascinating routine. Only about 4 to 6 hours were spent securing food or making tools. That's the entire productive slice of the pie. Then you have about 6 hours dedicated purely to social interaction. 8 hours for sleep, which we'll break down in a second, and another 4 to 6 hours of just resting, watching the clouds, relaxing, and simply existing without this crushing pressure to always be doing something productive. And even when they did hunt, it wasn't some frantic, chaotic chase like you see in Hollywood movies. Humans engaged in what's called persistence hunting. See, we're uniquely equipped to sweat and regulate our body temperature while running. Most animals just can't do that. So ancient humans would methodically track an animal at a steady jog for hours until the prey simply overheated and collapsed. It was a highly calculated, steady effort. And if you had a successful hunt, you might not leave camp again for days.
By early afternoon, the work was basically done. So what filled the rest of the day? Social time. Anthropologist James Sussman documented that adults spent about 6 hours a day just talking, laughing, and grooming each other. In a world with no money, no police, and no written contracts, building relationships was the ultimate survival strategy. You invested enormous amounts of time in those bonds because, plain and simple, that is how humans stayed alive.
And when the sun went down, things got even more magical. Anthropologist Polly Weissner analyzed campfire conversations and found this incredible number, 81%. During the day, talk was pretty practical, where to find plants or animal tracks, but at night around the fire, 81% of conversations shifted away from practical matters and entirely into stories, myths, and jokes. This campfire chatter is quite literally the birthplace of human culture.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how they slept. It is truly fascinating. They didn't just crash for 8 straight hours like we try to do today. Before artificial light, humans slept in 2 distinct phases. They'd have a first sleep for about 4 hours, wake up for 1 to 2 hours of complete darkness, and then have a second sleep. That middle waking period, it wasn't called insomnia back then. It was just a peaceful time used for quiet, wakeful reflection and resting.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 3, the agricultural trap. Because about 10,000 years ago, in the Fertile Crescent, humanity walked right into a dramatic turning point that changed absolutely everything. Agriculture fundamentally changed our relationship with time. It became this vicious cycle. First, we started planting seeds, which let us feed more people. Because we could feed more people, the population absolutely exploded. And once there were too many mouths to feed through hunting and gathering, well, there was no going back. Humanity became locked into an endless cycle of backbreaking labor just to survive the massive population boom we had created ourselves.
With larger populations came entirely new concepts, specialists, soldiers, administrators, and eventually the very invention of a job. Think about that for a second. The concept that your time belongs to someone else in exchange for resources is a complete invention. By the time we built cities, that original peaceful human lifestyle was completely gone, replaced by schedules, obligations, and the absolute necessity to work most of your waking hours just to survive within this new system.
Section 4, what we traded away. As we approach the end of this explainer, I really want us to slow down for a second and deeply consider what we actually traded away. The contrast here is just stark. Today, it often feels like we spend our whole lives chasing an illusion, constantly striving for achievements based on standards that society honestly just invented recently. But our ancestors, they woke up every single morning feeling like they were already enough, completely at peace, with absolutely nothing to prove to anyone.
So the crucial point is this profound realization right here. They were already living the life you're working your entire existence to retire into. We grind through 90,000 hours of employment, hoping that one day we'll earn the right to just sit in the shade, talk with our friends, and make art because we finally have the time. They already had the time.
This is the ultimate trade-off we made as a species. We traded our deep, inherent freedom for food security. We traded a life of profound leisure for exponential population growth. And we traded our precious fleeting time for a system of endless productivity. Which leaves us with one final, lingering question to think about today. Did we actually build a better society, or did we just build a busier one? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope it gives you a whole new way to think about your time.